Leviticus 23. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Speak to the people of Israel. Tell them, here are my appointed feast days. They are the appointed feast days of the Lord. Tell the people that they must come together for these sacred feasts. The Sabbath day. There are 6 days when you can work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath. You must rest on it. Come together on that sacred day. You must not do any work on it, no matter where you live. It is a Sabbath day in my honor." Passover and unleavened bread. Here are my appointed feasts. Tell the people that they must come together for these sacred feasts at their appointed times. My Passover begins when the sun goes down on the 14th day of the first month. My feast of unleavened bread begins on the 15th day of that month. For 7 days you must eat bread that is made without yeast. On the first day you must come together for a special service. Do not do any regular work on that day. On each of the 7 days bring an offering that is made to me with fire. On the 7th day come together for a special service. Do not do any regular work on that day. The first share of Israel's crops belonged to the Lord. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Speak to the people of Israel. Tell them, when you enter the land I am going to give to you, bring an offering to me. Gather your crops. Bring the first bundle of the grain to your priest. You must lift the grain up and wave it in front of me. Then I will accept it from you. The priest must wave it on the day after the Sabbath. On the day he waves the grain for you, you must sacrifice a burnt offering to me. It must be a lamb that does not have any flaws. It must be a year old. You must bring it together with its grain offering. The grain offering must be 16 cups of fine flour. Mix it with olive oil. It is an offering that is made to me with fire. It has a pleasant smell. You must offer a drink offering along with the burnt offering. It must be a quart of wine. You must not eat any bread until the very day you bring your offering to me. You must not eat any grain that has been cooked or any of your first grain until that time. That is a law that will last for all time to come. It applies no matter where you live." The Feast of Weeks. The day you brought the grain for the wave offering was the day after the Sabbath. Count off 7 full weeks from that day. Count off 50 days up to the day after the 7th Sabbath. On that day, bring me an offering of your first grain. Bring 2 loaves of bread that are made with 16 cups of fine flour. They must be baked with yeast. Bring them to me as a wave offering from the first share of your crops. That applies no matter where you live. Together with the bread, bring 7 male lambs. Each lamb must be a year old. It must not have any flaws. Also bring 1 young bull and 2 rams. They will be a burnt offering to me. They will be offered together with their grain offerings and drink offerings. They are an offering that is made with fire. They give a pleasant smell to me. Then sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering. Also sacrifice 2 lambs for a friendship offering. Each of the lambs must be a year old. The priest must lift the 2 lambs up and wave them in front of me as a wave offering. He must offer them together with the bread that is made out of the first share of your crops. They are a sacred offering to me. They will be given to the priest. On that same day, tell the people that they must come together for a special service. They must not do any regular work. That is a law that will last for all time to come. It applies no matter where you live. Suppose you are gathering your crops, then do not harvest all the way to the edges of your field. Do not pick up the grain you missed. Leave some for poor people and outsiders. I am the Lord your God. The Feast of Trumpets. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Say to the people of Israel, on the first day of the 7th month, you must have a day of rest. It must be a special service that is announced with trumpet blasts. Do not do any regular work on that day. Instead, bring an offering that is made to me with fire." The day when sin is paid for. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "The 10th day of the 7th month is the day when sin is paid for. Come together for a special service. Do not eat any food. Bring an offering that is made to me with fire. Do not do any work on that day. It is the day when sin is paid for. On that day your sin will be paid for in my sight. I am the Lord your God. Suppose you do eat food on that day, then you will be cut off from your people. I will destroy anyone among you who does any work on that day. You must not do any work at all. That is a law that will last for all time to come. It applies no matter where you live. That day is a Sabbath for you. You must rest on it. You must not eat anything on that day. You must keep your Sabbath from the evening of the 9th day of the month until the following evening. The Feast of Booths. The Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "Say to the people of Israel, on the 15th day of the 7th month, my Feast of Booths begins. It lasts for 7 days. On the first day, you must come together for a special service. Do not do any regular work on that day. On each of the 7 days, bring an offering that is made to me with fire. On the 8th day, come together for a special service. Bring an offering that is made to me with fire. That special service is the closing service. Do not do any regular work on that day. Those are my appointed feasts. Tell the people that they must come together for those sacred feasts. During those times, the people must bring offerings that are made to me with fire. They are burnt offerings and grain offerings. They are sacrifices and drink offerings. Each offering must be brought as its required time. The feasts are in addition to my Sabbath days. The offerings are in addition to your gifts and anything you have promised. They are also in addition to all the offerings you choose to give me. Begin with the 15th day of the 7th month. That is after you have gathered your crops. On that day celebrate my Feast of Booths for 7 days. The first day is a day of rest. The 8th day is also a day of rest. On the first day you must get the best fruit from the trees. You must also get palm leaves, leafy branches, and poplar branches. You must be filled with joy in my sight for 7 days. I am the Lord your God. Celebrate my Feast of Booths for 7 days each year. That is a law that will last for all time to come. Celebrate the feast in the 7th month. Live in booths for 7 days. All of the people of Israel must live in booths. Then your children after you will know that I made the people of Israel live in booths. I made them do it after I brought them out of Egypt. I am the Lord your God." So Moses announced to the people of Israel the appointed feasts of the Lord.